going on, Stellar Crew? Bob MacArthur here for this month's edition of In the Sky, April 2024. So here we are. We've been waiting for this for a while. It's April, total solar eclipse month for North America. That path of totality is going from Mexico to the United States up into Eastern Canada. Going to be amazing. So Monday, April 8th. I got my SVX 80T here. This is going to be one of the scopes I'm using. I got my Thousand Oaks filter on here. Make sure when viewing the total solar eclipse or any eclipse that's a solar eclipse, you have the proper filter. You don't want that eye damage. If you're using any eclipse glasses, make sure they're the proper eclipse glasses. Sunglasses, not going to work. You want the proper eclipse glasses to protect your eyes. And again, make sure you're using proper filters. Stellarvue is doing an eclipse photo contest. So we'll have more of that later on in this edition of In the Sky. So take a picture using your Stellarvue telescopes of the solar eclipse, submit those, some cool prizes. So we got a lot going on this month for April 2024. So let's get to it. All right, Stellar Crew, let's go and talk about what we got going on this month in April. So April 6th, backup Messier Marathon weekend. Last month we had the Messier Marathon. It was great, but April 6th is going to be the best chance for the month of April. You know, it's that closest weekend to new moon, and it actually happens to be the weekend before the solar eclipse. So good weekend to get out observing for sure. On April 6th, we have the waning crescent moon hanging out with Mars and Saturn right before sunrise. So Saturn is now back and visible in the sky. So that's exciting, and so is Mars. So there we go. Mars is getting higher and higher. Now, April 8th, again, the day we've all been waiting for. That is the date of the total solar eclipse. So hopefully you have your plans ready to go, and we'll talk about that later too. So April 10th and April 11th, the waxing crescent moon is starting to rise, and it is going to hang out there with Jupiter. Jupiter is the brightest thing over there in the western sky after sunset, and it's going to jump on up there to the Pleiades, which when those two gather, it's always a really nice setting, the moon and the Pleiades. Now, April 21st, 22nd, we have the Lyrid meteor shower. Unfortunately, the moon will be pretty bright that night, but probably see some of the brighter meteors. The Lyrid is always a fun meteor shower. And then on April 22nd, the waxing gibbous moon and Spica are really close to one another. So the moon will be big and it'll be bright and be right there next to Spica, which is the brightest star in the constellation Virgo. So what about the solar system? Well, this month in the solar system, there's a lot going on, but I think the show stopper is Comet Pons-Brooks. Now, it's not a very bright comet. It's hanging out about 5th magnitude at the beginning of the month. So it is visible to the naked eye if you are in very, very dark skies. And it's visible over there to the western sky. If you have a telescope, you can get some really nice shots of it. I've seen it through my SVX 90T, and it looks like a little green fuzzball with a little itty bitty tail. So you can get that. I did look at it with my 152, and the tail was a little bit more pronounced. So try and shoot it. Right there's a great shot right there with SVX 180. Beautiful shot there. So the new moon is April 8th, which makes sense because that's the day of the total solar eclipse. The full moon is April 23rd, so plan your observing around that. The sun is active. We have had some really massive solar flares, some X-class solar flares, sparking some pretty dang good geomagnetic storms. So if you live in the northern part of the United States, southern Canada, you're going to have some really good chance of seeing the auroras. Also, again, if you live in Alaska, Canada, Iceland, Norway, Sweden, Finland, northern Russia, whatever, that's where the best chances of seeing the auroras are. I know in the southern hemisphere, they had a really good display of the aurora australis last month in some of the big storms in March. So sun's active, solar filters, check it out. The planets, right now we still have Jupiter and Uranus kind of hanging out in the evening sky before sunset. And then the morning sky is where a lot of the action is. You have Mars and Saturn starting to come up. So there you go. The planets kind of setting in our evening planets with Jupiter. Morning planets are starting to put on their show. So get out there and check out those awesome things in our solar system. Plus the asteroid Vesta is still putting on a nice show. If you get a star chart on like the Sky Live, you can find out where Vesta is in the sky. Stellarium will also show you. So it's always kind of fun to check out some of our neighbors in the asteroid belt for sure. So let's move on and let's talk about the solar eclipse. So the total solar eclipse is April 8th. So hopefully you already have your plans. If you are watching this after April 8th, hopefully you had an amazing time and you had clear skies and totality was nice to you. Or maybe if you weren't in the path of totality, you had some really nice partial solar eclipse images. But I hope everyone who got out there to view the eclipse, you had a great time. There is the path of totality right there through Mexico, the United States, and into Eastern Canada. If you are still trying to figure out if your location is good or how much you're going to be getting, there is a really good website, timeanddate.com. They talk about the Great North American Eclipse, and you can find out the percentage of the eclipse, when it's taking place. So I really do suggest getting on that website because it is a phenomenal resource. I'm going to be near Austin, just north of Austin, Texas, crossing my fingers for a little over 4 minutes of totality. So, all right, here we go. If you get good pictures, this is the contest. Stellarvue is hosting a contest, and we would love for you to submit your pictures to Stellarvue. If you want more information about how to submit it, what we're looking for, the website's right there. I can't wait to see some of your pictures. And the best picture is going to be discussed by the Stellarvue team. And there's some great prizes, like winning an SVX ADT right there. Okay, there you go. Or you can get a discount off one of our other scopes, the SVX 140, the SVX 152, the SVX 180. There you go. Or some cash. But for all the rules, all the details, get there on the website. There it is. And to submit those pictures. I can't wait to see what you all get. So let's talk about the Messier Marathon. I did try and do a Messier Marathon. I did it on the day we had daylight saving time, so I kind of lost an hour, but hey, it was fun. I got out there with some friends. I believe I got about 78 objects. Time just kind of slipped away. That's what kind of can happen on these Messier Marathons. You get out there, you look at some image or some objects, you have fun with it, and then you go inside, warm up, have some beverages, get talking, and then you go, oh, the sky changed, and then you gotta rush through and get all your other objects. So get out there, and again, April 6th is the best weekend in the month of April, and that's kind of gonna be it for this year's Messier Marathon season. The Los Angeles Astronomical Society has a great website with a lot of resources, and so does the SEDS website, where they have a bunch of Messier Marathon information there. So get on that website, check it out, and get a Messier Marathon done, or get as many as you can. All right, let's talk about star clusters. So this time of year, we are, we're got the winter constellations setting. We are full-blown spring constellations, and we have some wonderful open star clusters, M44 and M67, both in the constellation of Cancer. M44, the Beehive, big wide field. So put in your wide field eyepiece, take in that cluster. M67 is a little bit fainter, a little more compact, but it is still a fun cluster to look at. And we also are now getting some globular star clusters. M3 up there in Canis Venatici, wonderful globular. And M5, another really nice globular star cluster to look at. And refractors do just a wonderful job popping these clusters out. So I'm excited to see what you get there, and I encourage you to look at some of these star clusters. Spring gets a little hard for nebula because it's really star cluster season and galaxy season for spring, but there are still some. We have some wonderful planetary nebulas. We have the Ghost of Jupiter down in Hydra, just this nice blue-green dot. And then we have one of my favorites, the Owl Nebula up in Ursa Major. You can actually get the little owl eyes and little owl nose is the white dwarf star. And then you have the Cat's Eye Nebula down in Draco, C6 or NGC 6543. Now I'm going to give a shout out to our friends down there in the southern hemisphere. The Carina Nebula is placed really well this time of year. I barely saw it in Hawaii. I think Hawaii, you can get it, but it's low on the horizon. Same thing down there. I think in southern Florida, you guys might be able to get it there, but it's really nicely placed in the southern hemisphere. and it's just a beautiful nebula. I mean, I've barely seen it through a telescope, but the pictures that I see are amazing. So Southern Hemisphere friends, go ahead and check that nebula out. And I'm sure there's a plethora of other things down there. And why not share some of your fun targets down there in the Southern Hemisphere, and you can all make us jealous up in the Northern Hemisphere. But spring is known for galaxies, and it is galaxy season. And there are so many galaxies to look at that I just listed a few. I mean, we have the Virgo cluster, the Leo group, the Ursa Major group, the Coma Berenices group. So many galaxies right now. M87 in the Virgo cluster and M104 are probably two of my favorite targets. You get to Leo, you have a whole bunch of different galaxies, M65 and M66. With NGC 3628, the Hamburger Galaxy, they make a nice, what we like to refer to as the Leo triplet. My SVX 152 with the 28 millimeter Stellarvue eyepiece, wow, really awesome wide field of view image or view on that one. So check that out. And then of course, Ursa Major, the Big Dipper. You have M81, M82. I love that pairing together. And then you have M51, the Whirlpool. Just getting those spiral arms. Coma Berenices has some great galaxies too. NGC 4565, this really nice edge-on spiral galaxy. So I encourage you to get out there and check out those galaxies. I mean, the spring is full of the galaxies. So get out there, check them out, and have fun with the galaxies. Binaries are also great this time of year. Mizar is really well placed, pretty high in the sky. It's the second star in the handle of the Big Dipper. And when you look at Mizar, you'll get another component right next to Mizar. And of course, you get Mizar and Alcor. So you have Mizar A and B, and then you have Alcor over there. So Alcor kind of has a yellowish color, while Mizar A and B are kind of bluish white. So check those out. And you have Cor Caroli and Canis Venatici, and it is a really nice bluish white pair. I really do like looking at that one if I just want to get a quick binary fix. Porrima, Gamma Virgo. This is a fun one for me. I first observed Porrima in the 24-inch Clark telescope at Lowell Observatory back around the year 2000. And you could barely separate the two with the 24-inch Clark. But now as time has gone on, they separate more and more and more and more and more. And now I can separate that easily with my when I had my SVX 127D, and of course now with my 152, it separates them really nice, kind of almost like two yellowish car headlights. But Porrima is a really nice binary to watch, and you can watch it over time. Like I said, now their separation is getting bigger and bigger, and that separation period is getting longer. And check out Porrima. Izar is a difficult one. You can separate it on a really nice steady night. So I implore you guys to get out there and check it out. I have been able to do it with my 127 and of course my 152. So check out that one up there in Bodie's. So some fun binaries this month too. So there you go. So it's April. We're all really looking forward to the total solar eclipse. And like I said, I hope you guys are lucky with clear skies, and I hope your observations go well. We're very fortunate to have such a wonderful eclipse. So get out there, check it out, whether it's a partial or total. This time of year, the galaxies are out there. What's great is the weather's getting warmer, so we can enjoy the weather a little bit more. But it is spring, so weather can also be a factor this time of year with thunderstorms and snow and everything else. So I really do hope you guys get out there and have a wonderful time and are able to get some viewing, and the eclipse goes well, and just have fun. Keep looking up.